nation, for another day of the week. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Chasing That Paper, presented by VegasInsider.com. And oh baby, coming off of another winning day yesterday, 3-2, just a little bit of profit, but still, winning is what matters around here. 5 straight profitable shows here on Chasing That Paper. We're stacking them up. So if you've been cashing in with us, do me a favor, right down there, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button, and lets us know that you are enjoying the program. So up over 11 units on the season here for Major League Baseball so far. Being able to maintain that may be a little unrealistic, but we will try to at least stay consistent. We'll try to keep the winning ways going today and maintain that momentum. Maintain momentum. Maintain momentum. Say that 5 times quick. Let's bring in our co-host today. Give us a little help here today. Ian, we'll give a shout out to him. He's been on a good stretch on the show. 3-0 on his hockey there today. Left his UFC picks last week. Ian, maintain momentum. Say it 5 times quick for the people. Maintain momentum. Let's hear it.
Maintain momentum, maintain momentum, maintain momentum, maintain momentum, maintain momentum. Let's stay hot.
Yeah. I like it. That is hard to do for the people at home. I try it. While you're watching alone, play the game with your family. It's a lot of fun. Ian, how's it going today?
It's going well. I put a comb through my hair today, Joe, just for you.
You look good, Ian. You look absolutely fantastic. We will get into your secrets of health later on in the program. So a lot to get into. Just a loaded show today. We got 10 total picks. The NBA play-ins, of course. Going to try to stay hot in baseball. Ian's got some hockey. We got some fun topics to kick around in the second half of the show. So let's get right into that action. We're going to start things off in the NBA play-ins. First game of the play-in tonight. We got the Bulls and the Raptors in Toronto. Ian, you got a pick for this one. Let's get us started here.
Yeah, it's pretty rare that I make a spread bet in the NBA, Joe. Usually I go with props, but I really like this side tonight, so I'm going to go with it. Give me the Chicago Bulls against our Toronto Raptors plus 5.5. I wouldn't even be surprised if they went outright, to be honest. The Raptors, their biggest advantage that they have over almost every single team in the NBA, or actually against every team in the NBA, is turnovers. Not only do they not give up turnovers, they rank first in turnovers per possession, coughing it up only 11.5% of the time. They also rank first in opponent turnovers, creating turnovers on 16.5% of their opponent's possessions. But good news for us Bulls backers is that the Bulls can at least match them somewhat in this stat. They rank inside the top 10 in both those areas, 9th in turnovers themselves, 6th in opponent turnovers. So the Raptors don't have a massive advantage like they do against a lot of other teams inside the NBA. And when you look at Toronto's shooting numbers, these do not look like the shooting numbers of an NBA playoff team. 28th in effective field goal percentage, 29th in opponent effective field goal percentage. Bulls have a huge advantage in those two stats. 12th and 17th they rank in those two stats respectively. And I also think Chicago can attack this Raptors team down low. Bulls rank second in the NBA in 2-point shot rate. 66.7% of their shots come from down low. And the Raptors are 25th in opponent 2-point field goal percentage. So give me the points with the Bulls plus 5.5.
Chicago, the ultimate DeMar DeRozan revenge game. A lot of people talking about that angle. Okay, game number 2 of the play-ins. We got the Thunder in New Orleans to take on the Pelicans. This game has a total of 227. My best bet. Give me the under on this one. Let's get right into it. So 4 matchups between these teams this season. Some pretty low-scoring games. Average combined score of just 217 in those 4 matchups. 3 of these 4 games. So the teams stay under 207 combined points. Some very low-scoring games between these teams. OKC comes into this one ice cold offensively. 29th in EFG percentage over their last 10 games. 25th three-point percentage. And we do have some defensive bright spots for each of these teams, especially the Pelicans. Great three-point defense lately. They come in at 4th in opponent three-point percentage over the last 10 games. 5th in points allowed in this span. Great at limiting offensive rebounds. OKC, meanwhile, they have been a complete and total pain in the ass, ranking 5th in opponent turnover percentage. Give me the under tonight in beautiful New Orleans. All right, we are over to the diamond. Some afternoon action in Major League Baseball here, Ian. Mets Padres, what are we looking at?
Yeah, I got a little afternoon sweat if anyone wants to turn on the game while they're at work, like I will be. I'll take the New York Mets -110 as a pick 'em here against the San Diego Padres, and a big reason why is because the San Diego Padres are trotting out Blake Snell, aka Blake Smell. Thank you. No, it's a unique one. You've never heard that one before. There are some red flags surrounding Blake Smell, though. He's allowed at least 3 earned runs in his first 2 starts this season. And that preceded a spring training where he had a 5.63 ERA. So I think this is a great time to continue to fade Blake Snell until the odds adjust. And the Mets offense, it's a good time for them to wake up because they haven't actually got off to a great start this season. 26th in OPS heading into today's game. But this lineup is too talented to stay down there. I think we're going to see some positive regression sooner rather than later from this Mets offense. And just generally, I like fading this Padres team. I know they're like 7-5 to start the year, but I think they're overrated. I talked about it before the season started, and now with Blake Smell on the mound for them, it's a great spot to fade them. I'll take the Mets on the money line as a pick 'em.
All right, back to me for 2. We continue on with the afternoon Major League Baseball action. The Cardinals in Colorado taking on the Rockies. And look who is on the mound here for the Rockies. Jose Urena! Got to find some way to fade this guy. I'm actually going to take over on the first 5 total. 7! That's a high number, but guess what? I don't think it is high enough. Yes, indeed, it is Jose Urena Day! A 14.4 ERA. Through 2 starts for Urena, who somehow continues to find work in a Major League starting rotation. Looking at a bigger sample size, he had a 6.30 ERA when pitching at Coors Field last season. Tough assignment for him here today. The Cards come into action ranked 6th in OPS. The Cards will counter with Jack Flaherty, who's been extremely lucky. Now you might say, Joe, what are you talking about? He's got a 1.80 ERA. Yeah, that's true, but this man lacks serious control. He's walked an insane 13 batters in those 2 games. Rockies are just outside the top 10 in OPS versus righties. And no big shock here. Some sky-high scoring here lately at Coors Field. 11 or more runs scored in the last 5. I like a lot of runs in the first 5. This one, over 7 runs. All right, next up, it is time for a walk prop. Woo! You guys absolutely love these. A real sneaky one here for you today. The Nationals and Angels getting after. And look who's on the mound here for the Angels, Griffin Canning. Do we have any Griffin Canning fans watching the show today? This guy coming in with a walk total of 1.5. We absolutely love the over on this one. So check out Canning. He's making his season debut after missing all of last year, but he has a history of being a walk machine. Sneaky little bet here. Canning is stretched out. He threw 5 innings in the minors last week. For what it's worth, he did walk 2 in that game. You go back to when he was healthy. 2 or more walks in 11 straight appearances. 4 or more on 5 occasions in his career. Nats have pretty good discipline at the plate there. They drew 6 walks yesterday, 4 against Ohtani. Right in the middle of the league in walk percentage, but surprisingly, the lowest strikeout percentage in all of Major League Baseball. Give me Griffin Canning over 1.5 walks. All right, Ian, let's hop over to the ice. What are we looking at?
Yeah, we're going to start off with a game between the Montreal Canadiens and the New York Islanders. Because of the Penguins' choke job last night, the Islanders can make the postseason with a win tonight against the Canadiens. But I'm going to take the Canadiens on the puck line plus 1.5 at plus 120 odds. First of all, I've brought this up before, but we should fade the must-win narrative for the Islanders here. Just because this is an important game for them doesn't automatically mean they're going to win. Just look at the Pittsburgh Penguins last night.
Shut up.
They went out there like minus 500 money line on the Penguins last night. They lost to the Blackhawks, and now they might be out of the playoffs. So much for must-win for Joe's Penguins there last night. That didn't work out for them. And also, these numbers are way too close to justify the odds in this game. For example, if you look over their last 10 games, they're just 21st and 23rd in expected goals percentage. That's pretty close, in my opinion. 21st and 23rd isn't very far away. Those two numbers are kind of close. And the Islanders play one of the, actually, I'm gonna correct that. They play the most boring style of hockey in the NHL. Very defensive, very boring. It's a modified trap. And that doesn't lead to a lot of blowouts. That defensive style of play leads to a lot more closer games than the average team. So I think it's going to be a little bit hard for them to win with margin. So I'll take Canadians plus 1.5 at plus 120 tonight.
Ooh, Les Canadiens du Montréal. Do not forget that Chasing That Paper is a bilingual sports betting program. Yes. The only one out there. So if you have any French friends or family members, tell them to check us out. Dumb. All right, we move back to the diamond. More pitcher props. Let's get her going here in Baltimore, the Oakland Athletics. And look who's on the mound here for the A's, Ken Waldichuk. Do we have any Ken Waldichuk fans watching the show today? So you should be a fan of fading this guy. We're going to take over 2.5 earned runs for Waldichuk. A little juicy. Very much worth it, though, at minus 145. So he's been absolutely horrendous. He's getting demolished. He should not be on a big league rotation. 14 earned runs in 2 starts. He's gotten absolutely rocked. He's allowed 7 home runs in those games and has allowed an insane 21 base runners in 8.2 innings of work. Tough assignment for him here versus the Orioles, who are off to a strong start offensively. 5th in OPS, 3rd in WRC+. Open this season. Waldichuk over 2.5 earned runs. All right, we go down to Tampa Bay for the next one. The Red Sox in 10. A little bit of plus money here. Chris Sale, another walk prop. Walk prop time, baby. Over 1.5 walks coming in at plus 105 for Chris Sale. So some command issues early on here for Chris Sale. 5 walks in 2 starts for him. And Tampa Bay absolutely going to make him work in this one. The second lowest strikeout percentage in all of baseball here for the Rays. The 12th highest walk percentage. Nothing special there, but they won't be up there hacking at a bunch of horseshit pitches. And even at his best, he does give out a lot of free passes. A bit tricky to totally get a feel for Sale at this point of the season, especially given his recent injury history. But look at his game logs from seasons when he was healthy. You'll find many games, multiple free passes. Chris Sale, over 1.5 walks. All right, Ian, let's keep rolling. Back to the ice. Your final pick for the show today. What do we got?
Yeah, final pick of the show. It's a favorite here. You got to lay some juice, but I like the Dallas Stars in the NHL tonight. Minus 165 against the St. Louis Blues. The big advantage the Blues have had over the rest of the NHL lately is in the shooting department. Over their last 10 games, first in the NHL in shooting percentage, scoring on 13.95% of their shots on goal. But the Stars can match them in that area. They're not too far behind the Blues in that area, coming in at 4th in shooting percentage over that stretch, scoring on 12.37% of their shots on goal. But if you look below just the shooting numbers, this Blues team, not very good. 28th in expected goals percentage over their last 10 games. And they also have had terrible goaltending. 27th in the NHL in team save percentage lately, allowing a goal on 87.34% of their shots, of their opponent's shots on goal. So I like the Stars. I think they can take care of business tonight and stay alive in the hunt for the Central Division. Give me Stars minus 165.
Minus 165. Okay, final pick of the show today. We are off to San Francisco with the Dodgers are in 10. I've been all over the series. 1-1 with my bets in the series so far. Let's make it 2-1. I like the Dodgers' first 5 run line coming in at minus 115, so they need to be leading at the end of 5 to win this bet. It's all about the pitching matchup here. Giants OPS versus left-handed pitching. They rank 29th. They're facing Kershaw. Dodgers OPS versus right-handed pitching. They rank 3rd. They face Cobb. Take a look at how each starter has done versus the opposing lineup. Giants hitters have a combined 640 OPS. 138 at-bats versus Kershaw. Dodgers hitters have a combined 907 OPS, 125 at-bats versus Cobb. Now, the Dodgers were held scoreless yesterday. I do expect a bounce back. They're third in OPS in innings 1 through 5 this season. San Francisco down there at 19th. Dodgers, first 5 run line, minus 115. Yeah! Man, oh man, just whipping through the picks today. 10 picks in about 12 minutes there. Hopefully we can maintain that momentum. Yeah, if you're in the live chat right now or watching the replay, guys, do me a favor. There's a like button right down there. There's a subscribe. Give each of them a smash. Also, let us know in that live chat or the comments section what bets you're on for tonight. What futures bets you like in the NBA. Let us know what you like about the show. If there's something you don't like about the show, let us know that as well. And if you're looking to place any bets today, tail any of our action potentially, I recommend placing that action over at BetMGM. Let me tell you a little bit about them. Sign up with BetMGM using that promo code VIBONUS. You get a first bet offer up to $1,000 paid back in bonus bets. If you don't win, that's VI bonus, all one word, no spaces. For a first bet offer of up to $1,000 paid back in bonus bets. If you don't win, just use that code VIBONUS. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 years or older to wager. Offers for new customers only. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. All right. Let's recap a little bit what we saw last night in the world of sports. So a bit of a profitable night, I guess. I think like 0.35 units for me last night. So I was kind of happy with that, but as a sports fan and a bettor, it was rough. So first of all, in the NBA, we win the Timberwolves covering the spread. A bit of an uninspiring performance from the Lakers, needing overtime to beat the T-Wolves in that situation. It is what it is. They are on to Memphis for that first round series, but it was sitting there on a silver platter for me to fade the Miami Heat as a home favorite once again. And I overthought it. The Heat were playing a little bit better down the stretch. And my big excuse for not fading the Heat was because, well, the Atlanta Hawks are very inconsistent too. You can't trust them. So I ended up going with the player prop. I take Trae Young, under 24.5 points. It's looking good for a lot of the game. Then I think there was a stretch in the third quarter there where he scored, I think it was 7 or 8 points in a matter of like 2 minutes. Then it wasn't looking good. And things slowed down for him significantly in the fourth quarter. They take him out of the game. He comes back in. He's not throwing up any shots. And the game's ticking. It's had a reach. There's less than a minute left. There's 30 seconds left. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is incredible. I'm going to win this bet. Not the case. A pointless foul. Tyler Hero practically hugs him. Go! He gets 2 foul shots and he ends up going over. So that one absolutely stung. And doesn't that suck when you're watching those live? And you just think, what the hell did I do to deserve this? So yeah, that was a deeply disturbing beat for me. Sucked to watch it live. It also sucked. You guys know I'm a Penguins fan. Got Kid Crosby up on the wall behind me. 16 straight playoff appearances for the Penguins. It looks like that is coming to an end. They were a favorite. Iain alluded to this. Right in the minus 500 range versus a Chicago Blackhawks team who should have been tanking. They shot themselves in the foot, potentially getting that win. Yeah, and it looks like the Penguins are all but done. They're not going to get into the playoffs. That's one of my favorite things to do as a sports fan, watch the Penguins in the playoffs. There's nothing like watching your own team in playoff hockey. So now I don't know what to do as a hockey fan. I guess I'll cheer against the Bruins. The Boston sports fan is completely insufferable. Why weren't they talking about the Bruins last year? All of a sudden, everyone in Boston is the biggest sports fan or biggest Bruins fan ever. So that's annoying. We'll be cheering against the Bruins. And a big shock here, the team I picked to actually beat the Bruins in the Stanley Cup, I think Iain was high on them too coming into the season, the Calgary Flames, eliminated from playoff contention. So Iain, your thoughts on both the Penguins underachieving big time? They got to fix that goaltending situation. Tristan Jarry is not the answer net for them. And the Flames really underachieved here, not making the playoffs. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't really have too many thoughts on the Penguins. It is what it is. It's a close race in the Eastern Conference, and the Penguins just didn't win when they needed to, especially against the Blackhawks team. But the Flames, if there's ever such thing as having bad luck for an entire season, the Flames have had it because Actually, they play the Sharks tonight. If they lose in overtime or in shootout, they'll tie the record for the most overtime/shootout losses in a single season NHL history. 17 losses in overtime or shootout. If even half of those were wins, they'd be firmly into the playoffs. Maybe not high up the standings, but they'd at least be in a wild card spot. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's just bad luck. It's bad goaltending certainly played a role in their season this year. But yeah, very disappointing by the Flames. I think they were my preseason Western Conference winning pick. So, and I kept trying to buy low on them. I kept thinking they'd turn things around, and they just never did. A lot of losses in overtime. Not good.
Yeah, they were that team throughout the season where you would look at the stats and say, oh, God, I'm picking Calgary here. This is a beautiful spot for them versus like the St. Louis Blues or some crap team like that. It just didn't work out. Their goaltending situation, very unreliable as well. So that's that. But yeah, we will be all over the NHL playoffs once they kick off here. I think it's next week. Season winding right
Monday.
down in the NHL. So an idea. I came across an idea yesterday, Ian. It was a tweet from Barstool, Mark Titus. A lot of you guys, if you watch college basketball, you probably know who Mark Titus is. This isn't my idea. This is his. But I wanted to discuss it. So we talk about tanking in the NBA, a little bit in the NFL, quite a bit on this show. And he talked about how can you get rid of tanking. His idea was specific to the NBA, but I think it can be applied to all sports. And he said it's simple. You get rid of the draft. And at first it sounds kind of silly, but then once you think it out and hash it out a little bit, it makes a lot of sense because teams have a lot of incentive to be bad in these sports, and they essentially get rewarded for being bad. So it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. In many other lines of work, it doesn't really work like that, where you're so shitty at your job that you get rewarded with some sort of incredible bonus. Now, the first thing that people might think about is, well, Joe, if you get rid of the draft, how does it work? Well, it would be kind of like free agency or like college recruitment, where these teams would have to make their franchise as attractive as possible to these incoming players coming into the league. But it's just going to be a complete shit show frenzy. You can get whoever you want. There'd have to be some rules around it where you can only give out a certain amount of rookie max contracts. For example, like the year when LeBron and Carmelo came into the league, you can't give out 2 rookie max deals. Maybe you can't give out 2 of those 2 years in a row. And you do also have to consider that the players aren't necessarily all going to want to go on the best teams. Like, say, for example, if you got rid of the draft in the NFL, all the top quarterbacks, they're not going to go to a team that's good right now. They're going to go to a shitty team that doesn't really have a quarterback. So I absolutely love this idea. It's never going to happen, but I think it would be perfect. What do you think, Ian? I know the drafts are fun, but teams have incentive to be bad, and this would totally get rid of that. So what do you think of that idea?
I don't know if I'm sold on it, Joe. I feel like it would just lead to the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. Like, what top NBA prospect is ever going to want to go play for, I don't know, the Charlotte, what are they now, the Bobcats? What team's going to want to go play for them?
The Hornets.
Yeah, the Hornets.
Teams would have to take a different approach. They would have to make their franchise as attractive as possible. And if you have a team like a shitty team like the Hornets or whoever, it's like you can come here and be the man. Like if you look at Victor Wembanyama, he's not going to go to a team like the Bucks. He's not going to go to the 76ers. He's not going to go to the Nuggets. You know what I mean? He's not going to want to go play second fiddle. Like you want to go to the Lakers and be their third best player and deal with all that drama? I don't know. In certain situations, you will see that, but they could put rules in place where you have a draft where you have a LaMelo and Carmelo, LeBron and Carmelo Anthony, and you can't give out a max deal to both of those guys. You could put rules in place. I think it would be incredible.
I think teams in cool, fun cities would actually get huge advantages because what player is going to think about where they have to live? Are they going to opt to live in Milwaukee? And I mean, let's talk NHL because I'm a little bit more familiar with that. What player is going to want to go play in Winnipeg, in Edmonton? In the NFL, what player is going to want to go play in Green Bay? Now, Green Bay, obviously, a little bit more of a historic franchise, but I mean, you got to think about the players are going to want to go to the LA teams, to the Miami teams, to the teams that belong in a state that don't have state income tax. Those teams are going to have big advantages.
Yeah,
I think
mean,
I think
rules.
there's a lot more than just playing time. I think a lot more of the external factors that now that they have a say in it are gonna play a big role.
Yeah, I think you could put rules in place so to prevent like those teams being like the Knicks and the Lakers being in the mix every single year for these top guys. You could put rules in place where I think you could work it out. I think it would be excellent for quarterbacks in the NFL. I think it would work out a lot like how it does now. You would see some teams maybe like the I don't know, like the Raiders might be more inclined to try to sign one of these guys. I think it's a good idea. There'd have to be a lot of rules around. It's never going to happen, but I do think it is a fun idea.
I think, well, and also I think the NBA is the only league that actually has a true tanking problem. I don't think tanking is much of an issue in the other leagues.
Yeah, you're probably right. I would love to see it happen, though, because the incentive to be bad would be completely eliminated. The franchises, their main goal would be to make their franchise as attractive as possible to these young players. But yeah, it's never going to happen. But I think it would be kind of cool to see it happen. I want to tell you guys a little bit right now about the Vegas Insider app. It gives you all the major sports betting odds at your fingertips, along with picks and expert breakdowns. If you want more Vegas Insider content like our shows, videos, and podcasts, you can find it all on the app in the media section. Download the Vegas Insider app on Apple or Android. Bet better with the Vegas Insider app. All right, Ian. I got something I want to discuss with you. This is a recycled take of mine that I think is worth revisiting. As we know, Major League Baseball season about 2 weeks in now. And you often see the ballparks advertising new things on their menu. I know Darren Rovell always tweets out these crazy items that you can always get at the concession stands. I saw some stuff yesterday, and this got me thinking. Like I said, it's a recycled take of mine, but worth revisiting. With the exception of a few items, eating at a sports game absolutely sucks. And it's a horrible idea. Now, you can get away with it if you have like a hot dog is okay, or some, snack food, chips, popcorns, peanuts are fine. But have you ever sat in your chair at an NBA game, an NHL game, a baseball game? You got the thing with the French fries and the chicken fingers in it, your dipping sauces here. You got a drink over here, your napkins over here. You're trying to. It's a complete and total mess. It is a complete and total disaster, and I do not recommend this to anyone. Eat before you go to the game, or just settle for a simple hot dog or something like this, because it's a total mess. Even like going to a movie theater, the butter popcorn is bad enough. Now you're trying to eat the gigantic hamburger and dip in your French fries and ketchup. I remember I went to the Boston Garden. I was watching the Celtics game, and I said, I think I'd like to get a slice of pizza. So I'm in my seat. I got the gigantic beer, a bunch of napkins, this big-ass piece of pizza. Grease comes right down it, drips right down my shirt. I was pissed off, and it ruined the experience for me. Don't bother eating at a sports game unless you're going to do something simple. What do you think of that?
I used to agree with that take, Joe. I have a different take because I've been going to a lot more sports games since I moved to New York, and I love eating. Especially most stadiums have like one item that they're kind of known for that's delicious. I like trying those items. So I'm going to propose maybe a solution to the problem here is maybe seats in stadiums should be like an airplane where the seat in front of you has a table that you can lift up and put out, so then you can sit there with your food on a table as you watch the sporting event. How about that? Wouldn't that help with the mess issue?
A little bit. It's still quite tight, though. I mean, you don't have a ton of room to spread out.
It is tight.
You have multiple things. You got a drink between your feet on the ground. Like it's a shit show. Now, if you have a place where you can post up in like the concourse area and still watch the game, a little table where you're standing, that's all right. But yeah, it's just such a total disaster. So I recommend eating before you go to the game, or get a hot dog. Something as simple as that. Throw a little bit of ketchup on it. Well,
hot dogs
something
are
else
gross.
I want to throw. You don't eat hot dogs?
No, not
You're done
really.
with them in your life? No?
I'll eat like a nicely
What did-
barbecued hot dog, but like in the ones at the stadiums are like boiled, like they're not good.
Yeah, they are
hot dogs are
bullshit.
gross.
Like steamed hot dogs.
Yeah.
What's with people giving people a hard time for putting ketchup on their hot dog? Is that like an American thing? Because I know up here in Canada that's pretty normal. Just putting
I think
ketchup.
that's an American. I mean,
people
I don't like ketchup,
mustard.
but everyone eats ketchup on their hot dog in Canada.
I know, but I see that like people are mocked for putting ketchup on their hot dog. Ketchup on a lot of stuff. It's a Chicago thing. I see someone is chiming in. Danny White letting us know. Who cares? But here's my stance on that. Who cares what people want to put on their food? Like people, oh, you pineapple on your pizza, you're a fucking idiot. Who cares? People like what they like. Give them a break.
Agreed.
People with beer choices and beer snobs. You know how I feel about beer snobs. Let people drink what they enjoy. Who gives a shit? We have a poll up on the Vegas Insider Twitter feed this morning. We know that the Lakers are playing the Grizzlies here in the opening round. Tight odds for this one. The tightest odds of any first round series. Lakers plus 105. Grizzlies minus 125. You know, the Grizzlies play with that chip on their shoulder. They bring a lot of bullshit upon themselves. Grizzlies, you can't really trust them when they go on the road. I know they got home court advantage in the series here, but I think I would side with the Lakers, not to the point where I'm going to put my actual money on it. But the way Anthony Davis is playing, you know, I think the Lakers are playing better basketball here lately. What do you think of this one, Ian?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking, I mean, I'm not the biggest NBA guy in the world. I've said that several times. I mean, I did call the Charlotte team the Bobcats earlier, which is a tough look.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. I think I like the Grizzlies in this one. I just feel like the Lakers are just always overrated. I hate how every time the Lakers win 2 games and then all over ESPN you just see the talking heads being like, oh, nobody wants to play the Lakers. Watch out, the Lakers getting hot. Could do it. Could go on a run. Look at the Lakers. So my gut feeling, my instant reaction is just always go against them.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I give Anthony Davis a hard time, but the way he's been playing lately, he's right up on that same level as Jokic, Giannis, and Embiid. Now, can he maintain that? You know, if he stubs his toe on the way to the arena this weekend, he'll be ruled out for the remainder of the playoffs. So no one touch Anthony Davis. And we'll be all right. Okay, guys, it is now time for today's Handicapper Heat Check, presented by VegasInsider.com, your home for the best expert picks in the business since 1997. Today, we honor Will Rogers, the mad scientist, who is dominating books, nailing 4 straight NHL winners, 11-2 in Major League Baseball to start the season. Joe Madden is 7-1 NBA win streak. An MLB profits leader, ASA, won again last night, bringing their record to 12-1 this season. Visit VegasInsider.com/picks for today's top action. That's your Handicapper Heat Check. Stay hot, bettors. Well, Ian, golf season starts for me today. I'm going to head to the driving range this afternoon. Nice day up here in Nova Scotia. So I'm going to go smack some balls and try not to embarrass myself too badly. What do you have going on out there that Chasing That Paper viewers can check out?
Yeah, the RBC Heritage, speaking of golf, starts tomorrow. If you want my full betting preview and best bets for that, check out the Bacon Bets podcast. That is live now. I give out my best bet to miss the cut, top 20, top 10, top 5, and to win, and also my DFS lineup. So check out Bacon Bets podcast for that. And also, I'll be writing on Fansided all day. I'll be doing some baseball betting previews for today's action, so I'm sure I'll lock in some more picks along the way. So check out all my written stuff over on Fansided and on BetSided.
Yeah, check out Ian. Ian will be off for the rest of the week. He will rejoin us on Monday, so I'm sure we'll have a lot to catch up on then. But Kevin Rogers will be joining me on tomorrow's show, so we are excited for that. And that's it. We're going to leave it at that today. We thank Ian for joining us. We thank producer Tito for producing. And of course, we thank you, dear viewer, for checking us out again today. Best of luck with your bets today and tonight, unless, of course, you're fading us. And as always, keep chasing that paper. Woo!